Hey, Soraya.
Hey Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So today we've got another album in our album focus series.
Yeah, this is a pretty great one too. Big Shot Chronicles from Game Theory.
Yes. And why did we pick that one?
Well, I think part of it is especially because of our co-host today, the one and only Ronnie Barnett.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we let Ronnie pick which Game Theory album that we would focus on. We came up with the idea to focus on a Game Theory album, which is loosely related to the Paisley Underground. Definitely not part of the Paisley Underground, but
Right.
we did talk to Michael Quercio before when we talked about the most recent Game Theory album, and he was associated with the band for a while, produced a couple of their early EPs, and was a part of the band for a little bit. And that part of the band didn't get an official release until Omnivore finally put that out. So there is a loose connection, but we wanted to dig into Game Theory a little bit more, and we let Ronnie pick an album, and Big Shot Chronicles it is.
Yep. And who else is going to be joining us today? Because we do have another special guest.
We do have a special guest, and Ronnie loves Game Theory, so of course we had to bring him in. But we wanted to have an insider in the band, so we decided to talk to Shelley, their keyboardist. So Shelley, help me with the pronunciation. I would say LeFreniere or LeFreniere.
Yeah.
We'll ask Shelley when she comes in, but she was the keyboard player and she sang backing vocals with the band. So I'm super excited about this. We're gonna have Shelley on so she can give us some little insider information as a member of the band. And we're gonna pick some songs to play, and hopefully Shelley will give us some insight. And
beautiful. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy.
You're a champ. All right.
An old pro.
It's still there.
We're all here, and we can hear you, and we can see you.
Now I really have my head in the box. Great.
Literally.
Great. Okay.
Let me check with Ronnie real quick.
Yeah, what is he's gonna make? What's he doing? He's so important.
I know.
Shelley, in the meantime, we wanted to double check the pronunciation of your last name. Is it LeFreniere?
It's LeFreniere is how I say it, LeFreniere, but LeFreniere is perfectly acceptable.
Okay. Trust me, with a name like mine, I'm a stickler for pronunciation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
Big Shot Chronicles was my first album that I ever recorded, and so I was very young and really I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Wow.
I was just lucky. I was lucky that Scott allowed me this opportunity to be in a band because I had no experience.
Oh my gosh, I'm liking this album choice even more.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think I was just 20. I was 20.
Oh wow.
Just a child.
Just a baby.
A baby.
Yeah,
just out of your teenage years.
We recorded it in North Carolina at the drive-in studio there.
With
Mitch's studio, which was really a really great place. I had no idea any place a studio would be like that. He had all kinds of super gear in there, Leslie speakers and neat special effects that he'd collected over the years, and lots of little plastic monsters and stuff. Little toys were around, and
did he have the dog?
There was dogs. Yeah, dogs. Fluffy dogs.
Oh.
I remember fluffy dogs. Yeah.
Shelley, may I ask, where are you located right now?
I am in Woodland, California, actually a rural Yolo County, unincorporated Yolo County.
I'm familiar with it. I live in Woodland Hills, and I'm south, But
Uh-huh.
I'm also an interpreter, a Spanish English interpreter. And anytime there's an appointment in Woodland, they call me. I said, it's a bit of a far drive. So I'm
So you
very familiar with it. Yeah.
Well, that's surprising because not very many people are. It's kind of out of the way place.
Yeah, I mean, happenstance. And your farm are you dedicated to one particular crop or multiple
Well,
or
no,
are you
chickens.
livestock?
Chickens has been my area, but we really try to grow as many different things as we can. Herman Farmer Man does a lot. He does all like the seasonal vegetables and the grain. He does wheat and safflower, which we feed to the chickens. And I'm just the chicken mama person, and I go around taking care of chickens. That's how I spend all my time. I really will never. I was just thinking I'm never going to get to any of my art projects at this rate.
What other art forms do you work with besides music?
Paint. I have a degree in painting. I'm a painter and mosaics. I've done a lot of mosaic, and I've been making beaded jewelry, like new necklaces, and I just have scores of things I want to do and imagine doing, and yet and I collect supplies. Lots of supplies that I organize and store, but getting to the projects, that's another thing.
I do calligraphy, so I'm very familiar with the buying, storing, supplies. I do that a lot.
I'm not good at that at all. Very handy.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow, you are a multifaceted person. The one and only.
Maybe.
All right, hang
on.
There he is.
I had to manually do it. There we go.
No.
Hey. How's the lighting?
The lighting is
Shelley.
Hi there.
Shelley. Shelley, you look great, of course.
You were in the dream last night, knowing that this was happening today. We were at a big event. You had all kinds of goodies and snacks, and it was fun.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. A clean dream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Party atmosphere. That's all. Party atmosphere.
That's me. Party atmosphere follows me wherever I go.
Mr. Party.
I want to know what kind of snacks Ronnie provided. Dream version of Ronnie. And what were they?
They were multitudinous. Some of them were like little chocolatey caramel cake things. Mixed variety.
We're going to make this a reality.
Oh.
I think we should.
Everyone's invited.
All right, Ronnie. So we
sorry
to
be so late. Go ahead.
No problem. We wanted you to be our guest podcaster because of the fact that you're, like us, are a big game theory fan. But I wanted to take control and pick the album, but Soraya says, nope, Jeff, Ronnie is picking the album that we're going to focus on. So take a seat on the back burner, in the seat in the back. And why Big Shot Chronicles, Ronnie?
Well, first off, finally you take a back seat, Jeff. I've been trying to get in the driver's seat here for a long time. Look, I could have picked any game theory record, right, as a favorite, but Big Shot Chronicles just always has remained my favorite since it came out. I know Lolita Nation is the celebrated one, the most celebrated one, and really, I could have picked anyone, but I love Big Shot Chronicles. Every song I think is perfect, and I everything about it. The cover is wonderful. I have it here. My one I had signed by Shelley there back in 1988. Anyway, I think it's a special time for the band too. It was the record after the first lineup. They had formed. Shelley, you can jump in and correct me if I get any of this wrong, but they had formed on the Real Nighttime tour, and I think that's a wonderful way to come together. By the way, like on tour for another record, and then making this one. So yeah, it's a rare 4-piece. This lineup only made this one record because you added Donette after this.
And Guy, yeah, and Susie left.
Yeah, and Susie left. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's a nice, just a great snapshot in time for the band.
Well, that cover, you're saying you love the cover, is from, you know, was Big Shot, was named after, the photo lab where Robert worked, which was Big Shot Photo Lab, where they did all these blow-ups and stuff. And so that's what we were using for our practice studio. So that's why it's Big Shot Chronicles. And then the picture on the back is all of those big shots. Of course, Robert did a bunch of blow-ups, and then we just set them up at Big Shot. That's at the photo lab there in the back room where we did the practicing. He just set them all up, photo for that.
Nice. Does Robert still have these blow-ups? These are wonderful.
You know what? We all got our own blow-ups. I still have mine. And in fact, we are so lucky. I have it right here. A cat pissed on it though, sorry.
What? We're going to see the real
cats.
The real Big Shot.
Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can take a moment of silence before this, right?
What? Because the poster got pissed on, or is that?
It didn't. You have to look kind of hard to see that, but I won't ever be completely rescuable because of that.
Wait.
Hold that up again, Shelley?
Oh, you want me to get it again here?
Yeah.
I'm moving so stiffly because I feel like I'm not used to having this phone thing on me, you know. Here it is. Here's this.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
That is right here. Like as if I drooled on myself, and then down the front it goes here where it's actually ruining the photo in this part. Can you see that part where it's?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. Sad thing, and my parents had it in their closet. Now I guess that's when that happened.
Well, Shelley, that's going to look great in my room when I get that from you.
You need that because I have no place to store it. It's in my dining room. I can't figure it out. And I tripped over it and made a hole in the side just the other day. I'm like, gee.
See, at Shelley's house, a chicken might peck at it next. You never know.
That's right. I almost was going to have my bumpies on my lap, but, you know, it's a nice day out, so I put her
Aw.
So Shelley was telling us that the album was recorded at Mitch Easter's drive-in studio. I want to hear more about that. Can you tell us a little bit about the recording of this album, Shelley?
Well, it was really fun for me. First of all, we laid all the tracks down, everybody playing together, right? Except my keyboard stopped working as soon as we got there. So I was really antsy about this. Everybody laid their tracks down and I couldn't do mine yet. We had to go, Dan Valor and I took the keyboard into some place in North Carolina. I don't remember the name of the city that thing is in. Where is the drive-in studio?
Was it Winston-Salem? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Winston-Salem.
Yeah, so we took it in there and it turned out there was a penny inside of it. So that was an easy fix. And then I came back and had to do all my tracks separately while everyone else had a day off or two or whatever it was.
So people threw pennies at you, no doubt. That happened at a gig.
No, I bought the keyboard from Nan Becker.
Okay,
who was
yeah.
Theory, and so we don't know when that penny actually got in there. You know, I don't know if it was my doing or if it came, you know, pre-pennied or what.
That's interesting because it is the same keyboard sound. I didn't realize it was the exact same keyboard, but
yeah.
This record has that same keyboard sound that Nan had. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So it was nice of her to sell it to me at an affordable price at the time.
Were you guys on tour and then stopped in to record the record, or did you go just to North Carolina? Okay.
And we stopped in there for, I guess, a couple of weeks. I think it was just 2 weeks that we were there to do the recording before then finish the tour after. Oh. And it was fun. Mitch was delightful. That was the first time I met him, and he was a delightful character. I didn't even know, you know, until I met Scott, I had never even heard of Let's Active or know who Mitch was or any of it. It was all brand new to me.
So were you aware that he had recorded the early REM material and at that same studio?
Yes. Well, once I met him, and yes, I did know then, but didn't know about him when I was listening to REM. Because back then I didn't pay attention to producers. I didn't even really know what they did, you know. In fact, I really didn't know a lot.
Were you in bands before game theory, Shelley?
No, my very first band, and Big Shot was my very first record.
Wow.
So
First
What a
time-
way to start. Yeah, what an amazing.
yeah.
And we've
I
recently,
would never have thought that back then, but now it looks that way.
we were talking about the lineup. Can we talk about this particular lineup for Big Shot Chronicles?
Sure.
So Scott Miller, of course, who's the main guy, right? Writes all the songs, sings all the songs, or at least majority of the songs. I take that back. He doesn't sing all the songs, but so, and then yourself, right? And can you tell us about the other two members of the band?
Susie and Gil Ray. Let's see. Susie was a friend of Dan Valor's, and he introduced them. And Scott was very easygoing about the band members. If you wanted to be in the band, he was like, yeah, fine. And he had invited me, though I didn't even consider myself for it. Robert suggested it to him, but it had turned out that he and Scott Vanderbilt were already thinking about asking me to do it. And then Gil, he'd been in a no, what kind of music is that? It was Black something, the name of his band, and I'm forgetting it. Not Black. Anyway, he just came and tried out, and Scott was happy with him, and that was that. There was no, nobody tried out and then wasn't accepted. There was none of that happened. Whoever came first seemed to be the way we went, and so that's where they.
There's an early Gil Ray band, Rhapsody. This hangs on my wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
There he is.
It's a great photo.
That is.
All
So
right.
Fade to Black was probably the band you were referring.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks. I knew the Black was in there.
Yeah, I had to look on Discogs. I didn't know that offhand.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Ronnie, how about we play a song?
Hey, first, I want to say a fun fact about Susie that I learned from all of our dear friend Bradley Scott. Susie turned down Adam Schiff, his invitation to go to the prom. I don't mean to bring politics into this, but
Whoa!
Gee.
yeah, did you know that, Shelley? That's an amazing fact. Yeah, that Bradley told me. So
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
yeah.
Tasty
Oh.
bits.
Okay, sorry, Jeff. You're right. What was?
I was gonna say let's play a song from the album.
Let's play a song. Okay. Well, I'm gonna. We had to pick two songs each, Shelley. So I'm gonna start with one of my favorite songs of all time, and it's the last song on the record. Like a Girl Jesus.
It's a great song.
It's beautiful. It's majestic. It's got very few chords. It gives you the chills at the end. It has lots of cool little keyboard parts, Shelley, that kind of, the production is unbelievable.
Fun to play. And I remember the backup vocals on that end. Scott and Mitch changed them around at the last minute. They changed them from ascending up to ascending down. So
Interesting.
there's a difference.
Yeah, and there are live versions on YouTube of this, and it's a fantastic live song as well. So, Like a Girl Jesus.
Let's listen to it.
Here it comes.
Brightness is pure.
Speechless.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a way to close out the album.
Yeah, where would you do that in the set, Shelley? Would that has to be like an encore or last song, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it usually, I'm trying to remember, where was that in the set? I think it moved around actually.
Okay.
But it was always fun to play. Fun song to play. Nice keyboard, fun keyboard part, there at the end, as well as the little stuff on the way there,
Right.
I'm really curious what the original background vocals were like now that you mentioned that. Do you remember offhand how they went, the ascending part?
Oh, well, I don't know if I could sing them for you.
Yeah,
But they went up, they just ascended up and they changed it to ascending down, which at first I didn't like as well. That's probably why I remember it. But as time has gone on, I think that it probably was the right way to go.
Yeah, and being so young and being the first time in your studio and then just at the last minute getting this thrown at you, right? We're gonna change this for the record that's gonna be around for forever now. So.
Right.
Sometimes musicians, you get used to the version that you've been doing, and that happens with demos and stuff too, where you get used to that arrangement, and yeah, when it changes, especially last minute, yeah, that can. I get it.
Oh, well, I tend to like things, I like rougher, rawer type recordings, and I'd often get attached to the rough mixes. And then when I hear the final thing, I would just be like, oh, God, what did you guys do? There's a purifier. You smoothed out every rough edge. But, as time goes on, I forget completely what I ought to get out those old rough tapes and see what they sound like.
Yeah, and now you're probably going to be used to the finished recorded version, so those will probably...
Right, then it'll bother me, yeah.
All right, so if you don't mind, I was going to pick my pick next, only because of the bookend aspect, and Ronnie decided to start with the end, right? Or maybe it makes sense to do my pick the very last, but I wanted to play Here It Is Tomorrow, which is the first song off the album. It's the lead-off track, and I always love the lead-off tracks for all of the records, and usually there's some kind of weird sound effect tape loops that I imagine that Scott did, where it would reference some of the older albums sometimes with little clips, but this one is just straight into the song Here It Is Tomorrow, and I just love the beat, where it's just the solid strong beat, and the chorus is just as catchy as all get out, which is typical for a Scott song, right? Some of these choruses you just cannot get out of your head. And I particularly like the solo in Here It Is Tomorrow. And then of course it ends with Scott singing What the Hell Do You Know over and over a few times. Who can't love that? But Shelley, do you remember recording Here It Is Tomorrow, or anything about the track?
Not specifically, unfortunately. I've always loved the track too, though. I think it's a great song, and I have to control myself with these because I just want to sing along, right? And I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I would love that. It's one of the shortest songs on the album. It's only 2 minutes and 17 seconds. There's only one other song that's that short, and it's the same time, and we'll get to that later with Soraya. But let's go ahead and listen to this. This is the lead-off track from the Big Shot Chronicles by Game Theory. Here It Is Tomorrow.
Stereotype was right this time. Vague questions for showy answers.
All right, so
Yay.
I gotta say a couple things real quick. That keyboard where you're doing that dun 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 dun, it's with that beat, it's so strong. I love that, and the backing vocal, Shelley, awesome.
That's actually the main one there that you hear. The here it is too. That's Susie doing those.
Okay, it sounds like there's a couple voices in there. Is it
Well,
just
there
her?
are, but the main one there is. I'm part of it, but she's doing the main backup
Yeah, because
on that one.
I can hear you underneath too, as well, or at least
There's
a
yeah.
second voice.
You know, he always had everybody, as many voices as you can get, singing backup vocals, because it always makes it better. But speaking of that keyboard part, we did open every set on that first tour with that song, right? And so I was supposed to go out first and start it, right? And just, you know, doing the dun, 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 dun. And then they would all come up and join me after I did it. Well, one time I went out there way early and they weren't ready. And I had no idea. I thought everyone was ready, right? And I was out there for a really long time doing this. And I finally just stopped. And he's like, no, you don't ever stop. You don't stop. You gotta keep going.
You're like 4 minutes of dun 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 dun. It's probably
Well,
Nope.
where are they?
That creates great tension though in the crowd. I like that. I like that opening.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a dynamic, right?
yeah. What
that song is a great example of Scott's songwriting with chords, just a bunch of chords going all over the place, but sounding, you know, like melodic and not sounding weird, but like there's a lot going on in that two minutes and however many seconds. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that was one of Scott's, one of many strong things about him, his
And
songwriting.
Mhm.
lyrically, I love the line where it says, "Young girl, say hello to your daughter." Just the phrasing of that, just
Yeah, that's always stayed in my mind too. I often refer back, even when Scott finally did have daughters, I kept thinking of that line.
it really stands out to me. But lyrically, I mean, there's probably not very many people like Scott who wrote the way he did lyrically. I mean, even the titles alone, when you flip through his catalog and look at some of his titles, they're just so unique to Scott Miller.
Yeah.
Because he was smart, and most rockers aren't that smart.
Yeah, I don't think I appreciated it as much as I could have at the time,
Yeah, you can tell how intelligent the man was when you look at any of his writings.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was really great stuff, but I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. Maybe that's what I should say. That says it more. Like, now I have a much even more appreciation of his lyrics than I did even back then.
Wow. All right, Soraya, where are we going to next?
So my first pick is I've tried Subtlety. And first of all, talk about the start of a song. I mean, just kind of blows me out of the water every time I hear it begin. But it's this line towards the end. Lots of quickness now turns slow, and darlings, this one is for you. I've tried Subtlety before, but I will not anymore. I just love that. I've tried Subtlety, but not anymore. I've tried it, but I'm not. I love his writing.
Yeah.
So Shelley, go ahead. Anything you want to add about this song before we play it?
Oh, well, we used to make up, and I had posted about this on Facebook, so maybe you have already read it, but we used to make up titles, joke titles for all the songs. And this was my favorite one. It was, I've tried some butt lately. And it still makes me.
Wow.
No comment, Jeff. Play that track.
We'll never hear it the same way again.
Has anyone seen the video to that?
I don't think I have.
Oh.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't think
It's
so.
quite
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Neither? You haven't seen it either, Ronnie?
I don't remember it. If I, yeah, I don't think I have.
I mean, there was only one single from the album, right? Erica's Word is the only single that was released for the album. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, it was a video that was done by Fred Uhos as like
Oh.
a friend of ours. We're just gonna make a video for this song thing. It wasn't like an officially played on YouTube type video, but
Aha.
it's full of very special, entertaining bits.
Tell
That's
us.
why I haven't seen it.
Someone's posted it. I know it's been on Facebook somewhat, so it's
Okay.
out there. You just got to go look for that because it's very entertaining. It was crazy.
Directed by Fred, the original bass player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Still in the
Okay.
family.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the video?
Well, it's just got a lot of us acting really silly. Like I actually earned the official name. Scott started calling me Party Animal after that video because I was crazy. I don't know. We were making faces and, didn't have to follow any kind of, traditional, we're trying to sell this song video. It just went from us playing it in a room to different clips of us, with duct tape and bottles of booze and, everyone jumping on the couch, and yeah, you'd have to see it. It's got I'm the star at the very end. I do a very special ending on there.
I gotta go, you guys. I'm gonna go find this video.
All right. Yeah. We
Do
need
you
to.
think I'm not on YouTube looking for it already?
I just want to say about that song. It's that song is and there's a few on this album that where Scott, it's a simple. It's not one of those complex ones I was talking about with all the chords and weird progressions. Like it's simple, but it's got that amazing bridge in it though that comes out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
which will lead me to my pick. I think is that where we're going?
Sure.
Because I picked another simple song off this record, "Where You Going Northern," and this song doesn't even have a bridge, and it's just a very simple chord. It just shows that Scott could he didn't have to have all the fancy stuff to write a really beautiful, melodic, great, complete song. And it's song number 2 on the record, and I think it's a great transition out of that great bombastic opener into "Where You Going Northern." So.
Where
Bravo.
Woohoo! I swear, every time I hear this album, I like it even better than the time before. It just gets better and better and better. So,
100%.
Shelley, do you remember recording this song or anything about this one?
I do. He just said he wanted the keyboards to follow the vocals, and so that's what they do through most of the song. They are just following the vocal. Nice, soft, inviting keyboard patch.
So, did you pick
Wonderful.
the patch to play, the sound to
No,
play?
I did not. Remember, I was the inexperienced one for this record. So Scott was pretty much, showing me what he wanted. And I didn't start writing parts until the next record, which one came next? It was Lolita Nation next,
Lolita.
right? Yeah,
There you
Lolita
go.
Nation, I had a lot more input on it. He's got it there with our, we have all our autographs, and I always copped out with the monster. I did the monster. That was because that way I didn't have to come up with any clever things to say. I'll just draw this
Oh, you
monster
said-
on there.
Well, look at this one, Shelley. You wrote
That one you can, yeah. See,
the monster and a nice message.
You've got more than one record with a monster on it.
The monster is on every one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Mine
signature.
Mine have no signatures on it. So I've got the Rationale version and the Omnivore, and I've got no signatures on my copy.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna have to work on that. But the Omnivore version is pretty
God, that's a beautiful color. Isn't that beautiful? I love that.
gorgeous. Yes. Yeah.
They did a great job with all the reissues, as they do. Love Omnivore.
Let's talk about that. Shelley, how did you feel about Omnivore reissuing? At least
That was very exciting. I was very excited. It was like reliving the whole thing over again. Like our record just came out. It just came out. It was really fun. It was a very happy time. I threw a party even. I hardly ever do that.
all the
Yeah.
chickens were invited.
Oh yes, of course. They of course were invited.
Always. Yeah, they did the slow rollout too, so they didn't just put them all out in one day. So
Right.
there was
Something
one.
to look forward to for so long. Yeah, that was really nice having them all come out one after the other.
And it was great that Gil got to see, the initial ones come out. I know he was really happy about them coming out again.
Yeah, the Lolita Nation party was the last time I saw Gil. So I'm very glad for that. Glad that event even took place, so that I could have that time with them.
There's nothing like a party at Shelley's. I can vouch for that. So.
Oh, now, yeah.
Often all the snakes come out of the ground.
Right. That one of them. That was one of Chris's infamous birthday parties. Yes, where he always gets the sound system. Yeah, the bass cabinets drove the snakes out of the ground. You guys, we're not kidding. These snakes came out.
Wait, so this is a real story? This truly happened?
Yeah, it's true. We have incredible sound systems here. Too many of them. In fact, we have too many sound systems. So for parties, we like to get them out and do the outdoor sound. Well, the bass was so the snakes started coming out. They just all started coming out. It was impressive.
Wow.
They were, gopher snakes. They're gopher snakes.
Wow.
That type.
I love that story, but I'm glad I was not at that one. I gotta say, I'm not a snake. I'm not a snake guy. So.
All right. So for my last pick, I chose "Crash Into June," which surprisingly to me was not released as a single. I could totally hear this song as a single, and I mentioned earlier the only single that actually came out was Erica's Word, and again, it's just another upbeat, great song by Scott. I love the muted guitar, but we were talking earlier, Shelley, the keyboard part is just fantastic. And I think you mentioned to us before we started that it was another part that Scott came up with for you to play. Do you have any recollections about the song or personal thoughts about Crash Into June?
I really like this song a lot. I think it's a great song, and it's very fun to play. Definitely a fun to play song.
I would imagine so. All right, well, let's listen to it. So from the Big Shot Chronicles by Game Theory, here is Crash Into June.
and the girls are rising early. I'm gonna find a way to get back someday. Leaving rooms, I don't know why someone would leave. Though it's taken time till I discover, don't you put your hand in any other. They suggest piano lessons for young beauty queens, and I know just what they mean. And if I answer to a different hunger than the one I had when I was younger, will you keep in mind it's still just me inside, with one thing less to hide? Crash into dreams, it happens all too soon. You don't know when it's there. Such a sorry state of affairs. Arrogance has taken me to that house, and a lifestyle I can really do without. Blowing inland off the tides of shorelines gone. This is weather that implies it's too late. Days that won't keep getting longer if we wait. Please don't think that I'm the one who should be strong. I can't keep this up long. Crash into June. It happens all too soon. You don't know when it's there. Such a sorry state of affairs.
I agree. I think that should have been a single.
Yeah, sure.
That keyboard part is the hook.
Yes.
You take credit for that,
Yeah.
Shell. I'm gonna give you credit for that.
So I'm looking.
All right.
I'm looking through the insert on the omnivore part, and there's this picture, Shelley, of you and Scott at your keyboards. It looks like he's playing the opposite side. Is there a story behind this picture?
Well, there's a whole series of those, and is there the rubber snake on my keyboard? Is there a rubber snake on there? There's a rubber snake there, and Scott went through this whole dramatic thing of like Robert taking pictures of him rescuing me from this rubber snake. And like at one point, he's got it, he's wrestling with it. That's what I remember from that. And see, I'm the only one recording there because I'm doing those keyboard parts after my my keyboard got broken, so I was all alone doing the recordings. And yeah, so that's why he's there.
So this was actually at the drive-in recording studio?
Yes, that is actually the drive-in studio. That is the drive-in studio.
Wow.
It's a garage, right? It's really is a drive-in. It's a garage, correct? Converted?
Yeah, it is converted. Yeah, you can't actually drive into the
Right.
But there's a car that you drive into. Yeah, it's a converted garage. It's very plush though, and it was more than one room. More than one room. There's like an area with couches and stuff, and then there's a separate recording room, and then there's the room with the all the fancy recording equipment. The wide fat tape. I still have a piece of that somewhere. The wide tape they used to use back in the day when they recorded.
Oh wow.
They still use fat tape anymore.
Yeah, there's
I don't know.
There are
It was like this one. I was like this.
Yeah. So that was for the multi-track, right? For the 16-track version before they would convert it down to the 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch or whatever. There's another great picture of
There are no pictures of us there. Yeah, there. That's the room. That's the room.
yeah, and
That's
then
it there.
Wonderful.
That was
I
the
love
little-
this picture of the 4 of you too. It's great.
Yes, there was several of those with us making a lot of faces, and that was taken with the at Big Shot with their their passport camera. They had passport pictures there. You could get your passport, so we were playing with it.
Yeah, I had no idea about the title. Were you aware of that, Ronnie? That's what
No, I didn't get that. I thought it was it probably made a lot of people. It made me think of Big Star. I didn't know if it was a reference to Big Star. I didn't know what Big Shot was. I didn't get that.
Big Shot.
But now I feel dumb.
Big Shot Chronicles.
Yeah, all the big pictures on the back. I feel really dumb for not getting that for so long.
Oh, but that's the reason, though, is that Robert at the time worked at a photo lab on the corner of Ashby and Telegraph in Berkeley called Big Shot Photos, and they did all blow-ups there. But that's where our practice studio was.
Okay.
We practiced there. His let us practice there, so that's why it's Big Shot Chronicles, and why there's all those blow-ups.
Right.
Did you? I'm repeating myself, but I don't know if you heard that story.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I heard it. I just I didn't hear it till today. So it all makes sense now. Big Shot Chronicles. I didn't get it. Yeah.
Okay. You weren't there at the beginning. I was talking about stuff, and I couldn't remember if I said it then or not.
So what was Dan Valor's connection or relationship to the band? So I know he's always been very much a part of the band, but what was his relationship to the band?
Well, from what I can tell, he was just Scott's really good friend, and he was really a big fan of Scott. He's very dedicated to Scott, And so then he went with us as our tour manager on that first tour. So that's how I got to know him. Mostly there, just on the tour, and their friendship went on and on. As far as I know, they were still very close until the end there. So just a really good friend. And he came up, he did vocals on stage with us before, and I'm pretty sure he helped on Lolita Nation. He did something on there, or some record he's helped with, did vocals or something along those lines. I don't recall exactly.
Okay.
How many hotel rooms on that tour, Shelley? How many would you all cram into one room, or did you get?
Oh God, no, we had to sleep together.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We'd all cram into one room with 2 double beds, and we all have to sleep together, or we slept on somebody's floor if possible. We'd always try to get a floor first, because we had $10 a day per diems on that tour.
Wow.
Yeah, raking in those bucks. And so yeah, it was. I do not know how many hotels we stayed in. I don't know how many.
I was just wondering how many rooms. Yeah. Some bands get 2 rooms, some cram into one. Yeah.
Never got our own rooms until, unless there was some special circumstance.
Right.
It was always
Meaning the venue would pay for them. Yeah, that's what that means.
Right. Or there was one time when one of our fans' parents actually owned a hotel in town, and then we got my carte blanche there, which was really
perfect. Yeah.
So Ronnie, how did that work out with the Muffs as far as rooms? Would you guys all have to share a room as well, or?
No, we would. Early on when we were younger, we would get 2 and kind of switch off who would room with who, and who would get the room to themselves.
Yeah.
So it would rotate. And then during the later years, we had our own rooms. It's funny. Accommodations became more important to me than the gigs at the end. I remember we met the promoter who took us to South America, and my first question was like, how are the accommodations? So I know it's not very rock and roll, but that's what we did. And I threw a fit in Italy because I had the bathroom down the hall, and they had bathrooms in their rooms. So I know it's embarrassing now. We all broke down at different times, but
I know when I think back on things I threw a fit about, I'm like, what was wrong with you?
Right. I don't want to eat there. That kind of stuff.
I totally lost it one time because we had used one. We were playing at a big like frat house type place. You know, a lot of people lived there, and we'd been given one room to get dressed in, and I had my suitcase and stuff in there. Well, they moved all of our stuff for us, right? And they didn't move my specially sized Ziploc baggie in which I keep my damp washcloth in, and I was livid. I was just like, I've got to find another baggie, you know. So silly.
That is hilarious. I love these rock star blowout moments.
You're in close, you know, as Shelley alluded to, you know, you're around the other members all day, you know, so things, tempers can flare a little bit over little things like a washcloth. At least that was easily replaced.
Yeah, but at the time it seemed impossible, you know.
Right.
When will I be by a store, you know?
All right, Soraya, what do you have for us for our last track for today?
My last track is The Only Lesson Learned, and I like the song. I think also, Ronnie, just going back, the song sounds, Shelley, I have to admit, I'm not a musician. They are. I'm not. So for me, it's just sound, and it sounds simple. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But the song itself is, you know, not too complex, but it's still very powerful and very good. And this line is what kills me every time it comes on. It's not my fault. I don't want to hear a thing they say. The only lesson learned is appearing okay. I don't know. It just gets me every time. So the only lesson learned. I don't know, Shelley, do you have anything you want to share about the song before we play it?
Nothing in particular is coming to mind, but once it starts playing, it may jog my memory.
The only lesson learned.
Greyhounds to home, roads to roam, the trail from all advances to fairy tale towns, legal grounds to block my second chances. The Stone Age gone, still and drawn, ties once so long range, all one by one, come undone and leave me scared of changing. And it's not my fault, I don't want to hear a thing they say. The only lesson learned is appearing okay. And I don't know who runs the show. Get me through a message. All you kids and your teens may not mean to, but you all impress me. I never try to sympathize, it's always such a strain. The only lesson learned is avoidance of pain.
I'm picturing Shelley a couple days later or a day later, just by herself, just recording the keyboard part at the end when the rest of the band's probably not even there or sitting around watching her.
That's right. They weren't there. They got the time off.
That one's got that Nan Becker keyboard sound. The bridge from the early to that lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not. I didn't get a D. I got the DX7 later. That tour was just the one keyboard, and then later I got it the DX7 time for Lolita Nation.
Nice.
So then I had 2 keyboards, you know, too, looking pro.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Like Keith Emerson territory there. You could
I'm
have joined
getting there.
Utopia. Yeah.
One hand on one keyboard, one hand on the other keyboard, right? So
I'm loving it. There's only a couple of songs I got to do that on, but every time it made me, you know, I really felt powerful.
So I should mention that Big Shot Chronicles originally came out in '86 on Rationale Records / Enigma, right? And then we mentioned Omnivore. That was 2016 when Omnivore put that out. So this album is definitely available via Omnivore, and they're always having sales too. So it's a good place to get the Big Shot Chronicles.
It's worth the full price, though. Don't wait on the sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great.
I just want to say, because it's been mentioned a couple of times, Erica's Word is a perfect song. That's a song I would play if nobody knew game theory. I would play them Erica's Word, and I think it's a perfect sums up the band quite well. That song is so great. So yeah, all that talk of it's a worthy single, and I love that song. And I would have, again, I could have picked every song on this record, but I want to tell one more story. Speaking of Nan Becker, I don't know if you know this, Shelley. This, the first Game Theory record, Blaze of Glory, came in a plastic bag. Okay. And I owned it, and somehow I lost, somewhere along my move from Texas to California, I lost it. I didn't have it anymore. And a few years ago, I was searching for it, and I found one on Discogs. It was kind of like the Omnivore one. It had the inserts like pasted on a regular white album cover. So I wrote Nan. We've been friends on Facebook. We've been friendly for a few years. And I wrote her and I said, like, were any, just a question, were they all in plastic bags, or did you do some like this? And she's like, I think they're all in bags. I think somebody must have done that. But if you are looking for the record, my mom has one, and I'm cleaning out her stuff. And next time I'm in Sacramento, I will get it and give it to you. I didn't bug her about it, right? Cut to about a year later. Yeah, she writes me and she's like, I got the record. This is Nan Becker's mom's and Joseph Becker, their mom's copy of Blaze of Glory. And Nan signed that too. And I took it out, and she never played it. Nan's mom never played this record. Yeah. So I broke the twisty tie on it. But, so yeah, it's one of my prized possessions I have.
Oh, wow.
Nan's mom's copy.
That is really. I had one too, but back in, I had that plastic bag looked ugly sticking out of my records and the labor. So I just out of the bag. I kept all the paper stuff and put it in something else. Oh, for shame! I don't have my plastic bag. Again, it's easy to lose, and it's stuck out. I mean, stores must have hated that record,
And now it's funny. And it's funny that the little bag is now highly sought after. I mean,
yes.
Who would have thought? Right?
Yeah. Who would have thought that? I certainly didn't think it.
So.
All right.
But
Shelley,
I do love that whole concept even more now than I did at the time, of just putting it in a trash bag. I think that's pretty great.
No, it really, I think, did they not have covers? Yeah. I mean, they're just like, let's put them in bags.
I think it might have just been a financial choice. I mean, it might have just been cheaper. I don't know.
Or just trying to make it stick out. Yeah, just trying to make it different from the other records, which it certainly did, or was. So
yeah,
it still is. There's not been another record package in a plastic bag, as far as I know.
I'm not aware of any. No, I'm not aware of any.
Especially not a trash bag.
Right.
It's not just any plastic bag. It's a trash bag.
One of Game Theory's many innovations.
Ah, yes.
So, Shelley, any last thoughts on Big Shot Chronicles that we haven't covered in the songs that we picked?
Well, I did want to say before I forgot about, I've tried Subtlety. Say all the kids from 916 came down in there, that lyric that they were talking about Sacramento's area code there.
Nice.
All the kids from 916 came down, moved to the Bay Area, which is what we had done. So that's what he's referring to there. I mean, I don't know if anyone is familiar with that, but it's kind of a, obscure reference if you're not familiar with the area codes.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
What else about Big Shot Chronicles? Yeah, nothing specific coming to mind.
That's is Gil playing guitar with Scott on a Regenus Rain? Excuse my pronunciation. Regenus Rain.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He did it live with him, but I don't recall if he's doing the recording or not.
Okay.
If he recorded the guitar or not, or if Scott just did them both, and then later when they did, we used to do that song, with the full thing, and it only became later in the tours that they started doing it as a, an acoustic thing with the two of them.
Okay. Okay. Is that a made up word?
I don't know.
Is that a real word? Or is
yeah.
Okay.
Regenus Rain is a made up word. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I always thought.
Yeah, definitely.
So did a lot of these tracks stay in the band's set list throughout
Yeah, there was always a couple of them. I mean, certainly we did Erica's Word a lot because that was our one of our single. And Here It Is Tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of them did stay. Our set list, it changed nightly. We did not have a set list. We wrote up a new one every night. Wow. Scott did a new one every time. So, I mean, it was often similar, but we brought in stuff all the time. And then, if it was an audience that really did a lot of encores, we'd be digging those things out. So they did stick around, quite a few of them.
Wow.
Nice. And then, of course, a year later, you make that double album. So that's a lot more material, That's how.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how it goes. The old tracks get pushed out.
Two Steps has some great songs on there that I really love to do live as well. I mean, but I went on that last tour just to do Waist in the Knees live. That's what I wanted to do more than anything. Let's play Waist in the Knees live. It was a big inspiration. Go on the tour, just to do it.
Two Steps is very underrated. I don't know why. Maybe it's because this is the follow-up to the Opus.
Yeah.
But, Two Steps is wonderful. It's really.
It is a great album. It really has some great stuff on it. And I remember at the time I wasn't happy with the mix as usual. That's the story of my life. So, but now I listen to it and I can't think of anything I would do different.
Right.
All right, Ronnie, you picked the album. Any last thoughts from you on the Big Shot Chronicles?
I think I've said enough. The record speaks for itself, and I'm glad that I picked it. When I picked it, Jeff's like, "Oh, I didn't expect that one."
I didn't. No, I did not expect that. Was a shock for me.
And then he writes me that night, like, listening to it now, and this is, wonderful. So,
thank you for picking it. That's really great. I thank you for picking that record.
I remember talking to Gil. Gil said it was his favorite too. So.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember it was Gil's favorite, and that's interesting too, because
that's probably
he had his own song on there. He had some of his own material, but I guess that doesn't really necessarily make something that your favorite.
Often when you're in the band, the place and time, that's why you like it, like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I'm guessing Lolita was a little more difficult to make, and yeah.
Well, the Lolita Nation, it was a very open recording thing. Like, it's because there was all that extra room there. There was a lot of freedom going on, and a lot of stuff was being written and finished in the studio. So it was just for me, it has all that kind of memory. So it's got that, creative thing going on, whereas these other records were much more controlled when it came to the recording. And so, as far as the records themselves go, I couldn't say which one's my favorite, but I had the most fun recording Lolita Nation.
And that was in the same studio? Was that the drive-in studio also?
No, we did both the Two Steps and Lolita Nation at CD Studios south of Market
Okay.
in San Francisco.
So Mitch flew out and
Yes.
had to get
Mitch
used to
flew
a
out.
different place. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my confusion because I knew that Mitch was involved in that, and I didn't know that he went to other studios other than Reflection and Drive-In. So that's interesting.
Right.
Wow.
And it seemed to me that after doing all the recording there, Scott and he went back to the drive-in studio to do final, mixing, tweakings,
Yeah.
things.
Add-ons.
Yes. Just
Nice.
special touches.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Soraya, any last thoughts on the Big Shot Chronicles from you?
No, and for our listeners, if you haven't ever listened to it, please do. This is a great album. And now, I'm sorry, Shelley, I'm always going to hear the parody title of I've Tried Subtlety every
You can
single
say it
time.
out loud.
Remember,
You can say it out
the
loud,
only one-
Soraya. Yeah.
I've tried some butt lately.
Okay, thank you.
God, we thought we were so funny.
I like the girls are the
But,
ones to have said that on this podcast, not the guys.
Hey, equal opportunity. No, but thank you so much, Shelley, for joining us today and adding to our discussion.
Thank you for
Great album.
I've had a splendid time.
And Ronnie, thank you for picking this album once again.
Always.
No problem. Thanks for having me along on this. I'm the extra guy here, so
No,
thanks for having me.
You're in the driver's seat today.
Yeah, 100%.
Very nice to meet you too.
All right, Shelley. Nice
Same.
meeting you too. So Ronnie, you could take us out since you're driving this thing.
Okay, yeah, like I always say at the end of these things, Shelley, they're going to talk about us after we sign off. So you guys be nice. Keep your true feelings to yourself, and I will see you all. I will see you all soon.
All
but
right,
not soon
Ronnie.
enough. Okay.
All right.
Bye, Ronnie. Bye, Shelley.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
As I try to.
Thanks so much. Have a good afternoon.
All right, you as well.
All right.
Bye-bye.
She's gone and he's gone, and it's just us.
It's just so let's talk about these two.
How cool. I mean, I love all the stories that she added, and it definitely gave our discussion an interesting twist. I loved everything she added to it.
Oh,
She had
yes.
I mean,
Yeah. We were a
well,
little
what a great.
I was going to
What?
say we were a little bit concerned about the dynamic of having Ronnie as a co-host and then having somebody from the band, how that would all play out. At least Ronnie was a little bit concerned. But man, that was very,
Couldn't
very
have been more perfect.
exactly. Yeah. And it add to the energy level. Those two are friends, so that certainly helped.
Oh
out.
no, that's very apparent.
Yeah.
It's very apparent. But what I like is the synergy between the two of them, just made it all very natural. And this is such a good album. And I think, your initial reaction, what did you think Ronnie was going to pick?
I thought either Lolita Nation, because that's the big double album, but I was thinking Real Nighttime, the album before this, or Lolita Nation. I did not expect the Big Shot Chronicles. And I
think that's important to note, because I think people are very, very quick to jump to Lolita Nation and kind of sleep on Big Shot Chronicles. But Ronnie's right. You could have picked any track from this album to talk about or to highlight, and they're all good. And notice we picked 6 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they show this variety, not just of Scott's songwriting, but of arrangement. And so, like, you really hear different sides of this band come through all of these tracks. And there was a re-release 2013, 2014. Am I right?
I know the Omnivore came out in 2016.
Was it 2016?
Yeah.
Which has a bunch of extra tracks.
Yes. 2016.
And you even get more of that.
Yeah.
Because you know, I always like to see where these albums, where and if these albums are available digitally. And iTunes carries this album as well, of Big Shot Chronicles, and they've added in the extra tracks. And one of the things that kind of tripped me out as I started listening to the extra tracks, the bonus tracks, was a version of Linus and Lucy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know, the Vince Guaraldi song.
Yeah.
And I loved everything about it. And so you just go, wait. I'm in the middle of this album by this pretty mind-blowing band, and then they give me Linus and Lucy, you know. So it just goes, I think, to the variety of influences on the band. And, you know, it seems like Scott never shied away from an artistic challenge. But then also listening to Shelley say, you know, he had a very clear vision of how he wanted things to sound, and like for him directing her a lot on Big Shot Chronicles. It was just interesting to hear.
Yeah. I didn't know it was the first time that she had been in a band.
Can you imagine being 20 years old? This is your first album, and look at who you sit down with in a band. And as a producer, you know, walk in a room, boom, 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 Mitch Easter. You know?
Yes.
That's pretty trippy.
Yes. And this album, talk about holding up. It originally came out in 86, and this is, I honestly feel like it's better today than it was when it came out. Literally every time I listen to the album, it's better than the time before. It's such a good album. It's really great.
The material holds.
Yes.
You know, it's still relevant.
Oh yes.
It's not dated.
No, not at all. And man, what an arranger Scott Miller was. And the vocals and backing vocals on this album are a lot of fun too. Just a great release.
One of the things that I always remark about when I listen to Game Theory is how melodic, but like hauntingly melodic Scott Miller's voice is.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the range, I don't know if it's the arrangement, but like it gets me. And certain songs like a Girl Jesus, you know, listening to it one more time and having Shelley there, like it was a very different experience listening to that song. And it really is a beautiful song.
It is.
Yeah. But
yeah,
you can't go wrong. If you haven't listened to it in a while, go listen to it.
Yep. And if you've never listened to it, go listen to it.
Woo!
And before we close out, I did want to say one more thing. We were talking about a couple weeks ago when we came up with the idea. You suggested that we let Ronnie pick the album as long as it was a Game Theory record, which we know he's a huge fan of this band. Obviously, you've seen over the last hour what a big fan he was. And then when we asked him to pick 2 tracks, it took like 2 weeks. He was going back and forth on which were going to be his 2. I think we really put some stress on his life to narrow one of his favorite albums down to 2 songs. And I think he struggled with that to try to come. And like he said, you could pick any 2 songs in this album and they're fantastic. So,
you know, it's hard to hear the album and hear such great things from a band, right? And then you go on through their catalog. Great. And to know that Scott Miller's gone and Gil Ray is gone.
Yeah, half the band.
You know, it's sometimes it's bittersweet. But you know, but we have it, right? We have this great product. It's just hard to know. that both of those people are gone.
Both of the males in the band are gone. And we still got Susie and Shelley, and man, what a great guest she was.
Exactly. Yeah, Shelley was fantastic. It was so nice meeting her and hearing her stories. Okay, but you're in a band, right? I'm going to ask you, do you guys make parody titles for your songs?
No, we've never made parody. We have different titles, yes, but none of them were ever never parodies. Like
I just thought that was so funny. I just thought that was so funny, and I think it just points to
Yeah.
where Scott was very serious about his work. It seems like he had a very wicked sense of humor too. So
Yeah. Did she say who came up with "I've tried some butt lately"?
no, but she said, because she said we would come up with parody names.
Okay.
And the parody name for I've tried subtlety is I've tried some butt lately. But I just thought that was funny.
It's hilarious.
I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard that, but
Yeah.
I would assume every band's got, a funny way to refer to their songs. Or
Yeah. We would just say either like a keyword, or sometimes if it was a long title, we'd take the first letter of each word, and sometimes it would spell stuff out, but nothing that was ever comedic or had any
like
humor.
a twist on it. Yeah. I just thought that was so funny.
We'd call it the whatever song, like the fast song, or the country song, not by title, but something like that. All right, let's play the country song next. Or
and everyone knows what it is.
yeah,
right?
What it was. But yeah, nothing ever with this little edge of humor to it. So
Oh my gosh, too funny.
that was hilarious.
This was great.
Yes.
I always love having Ronnie on, and he never ever steers us wrong.
No, he doesn't.
Jeff, I hate to say it, but algo do we have?
Groove on, Paisley people. She was awesome.
Oh my God, amazing.